97.7 ACK FM is True Island Radio. Song is called Sweet Disposition. It's the Temper Trap. I am Chris Reiser. Delighted to welcome a couple of gentlemen here into the studio right now. Dennis Toner is here. Good morning, Dennis.
Morning, everybody.
And you've brought along a very talented young man with you.
I have. We're working on a project to celebrate the twinning of Nantucket bone, and we brought the famous sculptor Paul Day from France and England to give you an idea of what's going on and to let you know that tomorrow, Saturday, between 3 and 6, Paul's work will be displayed at the Lobby Restaurant, the former Arno's, on Main Street in Nantucket. So we think it would be a great opportunity for the citizens of Nantucket and the shopkeepers and the public officials to take a look at this work and the proposed statue, which, of course, I think would change the landscape of Nantucket if we can make this project work. But it's really exciting. It's great to be back on Nantucket. But I'm going to throw it over to Paul Day and let you get an idea of his feelings about this project and also how he proposes to put together this monumental piece for our islands. Paul.
Good morning. Thank you, Dennis. Good morning, everyone. I've had the great opportunity to come over with Denis to see this wonderful island from Bone, where I live, and I've lived for 24 years. I've been sculpting now monuments in historic, wonderful locations for about 30 years. Just to put you in the picture of what I do, most of my large monumental works are in London at the moment. I have 4 pieces, and the latest was a monument to the efforts in Iraq and Afghanistan by British troops. That was unveiled by the Queen in March this year. So I'm sort of used to dealing with interesting historic locations, and I've been asked on many occasions to celebrate the history of a place with icons, sculptural icons. Denis came into my studio about a year ago, and I discovered, thanks to Denis, that my home city of Bone was twinned with Nantucket, and he said, "Why don't we celebrate this twinning with a sculpture?" And it took a while for me to work out quite what the link was between these two places. But of course, there is an amazing story of harvest that comes across from both cities. Bone, of course, is world famous for the wine, for the fantastic Burgundy wine. And Nantucket, of course, has this very, very spectacular and unique history of the whaling, which affects every aspect of the island, from the built environment to all the crafts and so on, and just the history of the place is unique in that way. So I've designed a sculpture that links these two stories and that celebrates the human effort and relationship between the harvest of the land in the form of a vendangeur, a grape harvester, and the harvest of the sea, a whaler. And this maquette, which is a work in progress, obviously, you can see in this location tomorrow afternoon, along with other sculptures that we've brought over from France, and some information and images of some of the larger monuments, just so you can get a sense of where the story ends. When we start with a small sculptural model, there's an awful lot of work that goes into producing a much larger version. But I feel that the island could benefit greatly from an iconic sculptural image. There is no public sculpture on the island that I've seen. And Denis and I feel that it will be something that would add value, that could be, if you Google search Nantucket, you don't see any iconic image in a way. And that's what we want to do. We want to create something that is going to be recognizable all around the world, that everyone will want to go and see and photograph. And it can add to the image bank of what is Nantucket to the rest of the world.
Right, that's absolutely true. And, this is, for our generation, this will be great. But we hope that this iconic sculpture will also serve as a reminder and actually a beacon to those who follow, that reminds us of where we come from, our history. And also, if you think about it, Nantucket is become an international city. And with the twinning, which goes to a sense of global community, and I think that in this time of nationalism and division, it's very important that we have artifacts that show our commitment to the notion of community, cooperation, and we inhabit one planet. And so this could be an enduring monument to our past, and again, a signal and reminder to those who follow, posterity. So I don't think we have too much more to say, except it's great to be back on Nantucket. And
so what needs to be done as far as the folks here in Nantucket? What's the next step? What do we need? What's the call to action?
Well, we're in America. We need money.
Okay.
And so what we're doing is opening a fundraising campaign, which you'll be kept aware of. And this will be also an international campaign. But and it's ambitious. It's going to cost $500,000. So right now we're trying to cultivate the patrons and to make people aware of the project. And I think last week here on Nantucket, we've done a lot of filming, and we've got great support from the local media and magazine, True Island Radio, and the Inky Mirror. And we're going to generate a film about this project that can be shown on Nantucket TV, and then taken, extracted, and put into our campaign. But, there's so many great charities and worthy charities. Nantucket is famously a target of charities. So we know that the field is dense, but we really feel that it's a very worthwhile to bring great, not good, but great art to our island, and it enhances our cultural identity.
So, just for the sake of argument, let's say the funding is in place. How long then would it take, do you estimate, Paul, how long would it take you to actually make this piece?
Well, that's an interesting question, because at the moment I'm working on monumental projects for Moscow and Liverpool.
Okay.
So I'd be slotting Nantucket into my program. But to give you a general idea, I would spend probably 6 months working on the full-scale sculpture in my studio, which would be made in clay. And then that would have to be cast into bronze. And I generally do that with foundries in Europe, in the Czech Republic, that I work with regularly. And that's another probably 6 months work to create the bronze cast, and then obviously shipping it over. Now, there is the possibility that I might be able to find a partner foundry in the US so that it's cast on American soil. That would be lovely, of course. Sure. And that would add to the sort of locality. If we could find a foundry in Massachusetts even to do this work, then that would be obviously awesome. But yeah, a rule of thumb, I would say it's a year to create this sort of work.
Okay. So I guess the key is get involved, get behind the project, and get your checkbooks open.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Okay. My mother was an artist, and one of her good friends in Newfoundland, in St. John's, was a sculptor. And I got to tell you, I was only I was a teenager at the time, but he was a little off. His name was Stuart, and he said to me one time, I'll never forget, he said, "Christopher, you know what I'd like to do?" I said, "What's that?" He said, "I'd like to get a tank and just roll over all the cars in the Avalon Mall parking lot and then make something out of it." And I thought, you know what? I like that idea. You're a little crazy, but I like the idea. But God bless you. Your work is really remarkable and really amazing. And where can they see examples of it again?
Denis?
Well, tomorrow in the flesh, Paul will be here, and there'll be 4 statues, smaller versions, of course, and the maquette or the prototype at the Lobby Restaurant, the former Arno's, on Main Street in Nantucket from 3 to 6 p.m. And it's really worth a while, and a perfect thing to do on a Sunday afternoon. So come on down, and we look forward to seeing you. And it's really great to chat with Paul because, as Chris said, he is a little bit off as well.
Could I just say, also, if you go online and Google Paul Day or Paul Day sculpture images, then there's loads of loads of images of my work there.
Okay, that's what I'm after. For folks who are listening right now and just want to take a look,
they can just Google Paul Day or Paul Day sculpture. You'll see a 30-foot tall statue of lovers in London. That's in the International Railway Station. And then if you dig a little deeper, you'll see lots of other things. All
right. Well, fantastic. Thank you so much for taking this project on, and we've got our fingers crossed for you. And by all means, the door is always open. Pop back anytime to let us know how it's going.
We will, Chris. You can be sure.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. It's 97.7 ACK FM.